Hi, welcome to Rope In Mental Health. I'm Garrett Kennedy, mental health consultant. Today I'm really excited to talk to you guys about something. I was actually going through Walmart, and here we are in April in 2020 here in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. And with COVID-19 going around, we've got all this social isolation and social distancing going on. And we have to, new rules and regulations are happening all over the place as far as where we can go, how we can enter, how we can exit. And, you know, like I say, I went to Walmart and never did I expect the greeters there to act like bouncers. It was really amazing in a positive, fantastic way. I mean, this is actively what we can do about COVID-19, and I get that. But learning new social skills is really hard for some people. Myself, for example, I actually have attention deficit disorder and dyslexia. Luckily, this was diagnosed back in 1981. I was in grade 3. My teacher was actually Mrs. Rainbow, believe it or not. And my mom fought really hard to keep me out of remedial classes and in normal classes. Well, the only way they could incorporate this was that once or twice a week, I would take these special education classes. So I was in a special ed program all the way from grade 3 to grade 12. In fact, I kept getting support for dyslexia and ADHD through university both times I went there. It's been a phenomenal path that I now find a lot of humor in, because I'm looking around, like I'm looking at Walmart and I'm seeing people getting frustrated, or I'm talking to some of my colleagues and I'm hearing them being really hit in the face with how hard it can be to change your social behaviors, which I find surprising, because in my work, what I do is I help in the special education program of a local elementary school here. I also have worked in the Calgary Catholic School Division trying to help with some special ed programs there, and I myself have learned these lessons all the way from grade 3, as I mentioned. And it's amazing that right now the best standard of practice are the same things that I was taught in elementary school, and I'm surprised everybody wasn't actually taught this. Now, long and the short of it, supporting people who are having difficulty learning new social skills is our call to arms. That's actually what our Prime Minister has asked us to do, is everybody step up and stay inside and using OH&S language, use the administrative control level for the hazard of COVID. Just stay away from other people. It's really that simple. That's all you need to do. And yet, all of these neurotypical people who have absolutely nothing different in their brain structure from what science considers normal. Mine, for example, because I have a dyslexia, has different length axons and little different structures going on, and it actually processes the world differently than most other people. Combining that with ADHD is just a fun, fantastic ride some of the time, I have to say. But I'd be told, way back in elementary school, I'd be told, if you feel uncomfortable in a situation and you start getting anxious, that is when you're going to act weird. Frankly, I was that weird kid. I know, go figure, right? But when you're starting to feel anxious, it's harder to do what's expected of you, even if you know what it is. But anyway, so we come to 4 basic steps, because everything in my life I do believe can be boiled down to 4 basic steps. And when we're looking at helping other people, or if you're being humble enough to say, yeah, you know what? I'm kind of having a hard time with these new social skills. Like, I used to just go meet my friends for coffee, and now there's no coffee shops. Like, what are we doing in this world? There's a lot of people who are helping children a lot more diligently, or a lot more of hours of the day, and might be seeing some behaviors that they didn't know about, or that they're really starting to struggle with. I actually have some very unfortunate dealings with my own children back in the day when I was just trying to figure out how to implement all this stuff. But anyway, that's another story altogether. There we go again, off into the tangent world. But how do we notice like that? How do we be mindful that we're off topic? How do we be mindful of the fact that when we're in a situation, we're feeling anxious because we're the ones who aren't acting right? How do we actually get that message through to people? You know, like I say, over in Walmart there, I was watching people just, you know, oh, let me sneak past you here, and oh, I just want to grab this in front of you. No, that's not okay. It's really not okay. Whether there's people like myself who have some struggles, anywhere from something as really simple as what I have to deal with compared to some very complex developmental disabilities that some people are struggling with, that make it hard for them to learn social skills. And it's up to us to be that village that raises the child. It's up to us to be the community that cares for those who are struggling with learning new rules. It might just be because they've been doing it their way for, say, 70 years and just don't want to do it a new way. Or young kids just aren't respectful of how hazardous this hazard is. And we see that all the time on OH&S level situations, which COVID is. So learning new social skills. How do we actually get to teach people learning new social skills? Well, trying to stay away from PowerPoint and dramatic, flashy programs and all that, it really comes down to 4 simple steps. The first thing is have a resilient plan. Have a plan that's ready to be flexible. Have a plan for going in and coming out. Do you know the expectations? Do you know why you're going to Walmart? Do you remember what it is you're supposed to get? Do you know where in the store it is so that you can minimize interactions with other people and not give them the disease you're carrying? Because that's what this is all about. Are you going to wear a mask? Are you not going to wear a mask? I mean, oh my goodness. And how do you know if you're going the right or wrong way on the aisles now that there's different lines? You know, one of the things I used to be taught, and one of the things I teach the children in elementary schools, is watch the people around you. So after having that resilient plan of knowing where to go, knowing what's expected of you, and kind of taking a stock of what it is you want to get, right? The next step is to be observant of your surroundings. Just look around. On the floor, there might be tape arrows directing you. There might be signs that say, hey, stay 2 meters apart. There might be other social cues that you can look for. You have to be what we tell the children is be a social detective. Take a look around and see how other people are acting. What are they doing? Is everybody lining up? Ask somebody. You know, there's nothing more empowering than finding out new information. And finding out new information is what I use as my personal motivator. I love to learn, so use that skill that you have. You're neurotypical. This should be easy for you, right? Helping us with, you know, slight social disorders and whatnot, it can be really troubling. Now, I've been at this quite a while, and I'm proud to say I keep my distance from everybody. I actually opt to wear a scarf when I go out in public. It's not a mask, I realize this, but with my own personal knowledge and background, I'm making an informed choice to cover my mouth and stop my spittle from getting on other people by keeping my distance. In OH&S, we want to use administrative controls first, and then I'm going to be using my PPE. So when I'm going into Walmart, maybe I'm getting strange looks from people, not because I'm going the wrong way, but because I'm not wearing a mask. Oh my goodness, there's another social rule. How do we learn all these things? It's through that observation, right? Now, to be observant, you have to be mindful of your situation, which means you have to calm down. So this is our first checkpoint. We've made our resilient plan, we're observing the surrounding, and now it's time to make kind of a checkpoint. So you really need to just take stock of everything in your situation and be in tune with the hardest question you can ask yourself, which is, what are you feeling right now? Because in special ed, And I mean, since grade 3, I've been teaching this. And the elementary school kids I teach right now, I mean, hell, these kids are learning how the limbic system can be used to modulate your emotions, while the peers in the room next door, who are in the normal class, the neurotypical people, they're learning that cat is a noun. So I know that this is not strange or confusing topics. This is just simply saying, if you're calm, you make better decisions. If you're calm, you can react to other people being rude better. So once you get your resilient plan, you take a look around at your new surroundings, you see how everybody's lining up, do whatever it is that works for you to check in with yourself. Make sure that you're not getting stressed out. Make sure you're not scared. And if people are still looking at you funny, we tell people, you know, maybe it's you. So if they're still looking at you funny and you've checked in and you've looked at all the observations, you're wearing your belt, you're doing everything you possibly can, and you're trying to read the faces, which is really difficult now because all you see is this. And the difference between looking at a smile and a scowl, or a smirk, or are they laughing at you smiling, or being nice smiling, or scowling at you, or being mean, or is it at you? It's really hard to do. It's really hard to read that body language when all you have is the eyes. And of course, that physical distancing changes how everybody's posture is anyway. So it's really difficult for people to read a crowd right now. I've heard many people shooting negative and really trying to be positive about giving feedback, but that's the next step, is listen to feedback that's being given. Give feedback as you know it to be fact, right? So if somebody's doing something wrong, try to be positive in your feedback. And I don't mean you have to be smiles and roses and happy kind of positive. Emotionally, you can be upset still, of course. I'm not saying you suddenly have to change your mood. What I am saying is you have to calm your mood enough, bring it under control, and down from that elevated yellow zone level, bring it down to a green zone level so that you can be positive. And when somebody steps up to you, you don't jerk or lurch back or push them away. Just the other day, there was a gentleman that I know from work I've done in the past. He's an adult with disabilities. And he came and he gave me a hug the other day. And I was literally putting my hands up saying, no, you've got to stop. But I mean, it's just hard for some people to change their ways. So giving feedback really should be done in a constructive, positive way. And by positive, I mean aiming towards the goal. If you're going to be confrontational with somebody who's already agitated, they're going to become more agitated, which brings them closer to you. It elevates their speaking, so they might be spraying more sputum on you. It's just in your best interest. Make a resilient plan so that you can be calm while you're observing the new surroundings, and then be positive in your interactions with people. And remember, you're just going for what you're going for. That's it. That's all you need to do, right? Now, the other thing about being positive is you have to make sure that you're continually moving towards your goal. You're not getting caught up in arguments. You're not getting caught up in the sidelong glances and starting to get agitated. So this might be another time to check in with yourself. And this is what we tell the children in elementary schools to do. So I know you guys can do it, because after I take an individual or something on an outing in the outside world, if I see that they're struggling and then calm themselves down, I definitely find a place to say, what was it about that moment you noticed? And I make them reflect on that. So this is the next part of learning new social skills. Taking this outing to Walmart, adding it to your data banks, and then acting and behaving differently so that the outcome is more positive next time, or the same if it worked well. Right? So you're going to have to remember what it is you observed, how you felt. Did you make good or bad decisions? Did you get coughed on? Not. Was there a threat or something that you could have avoided in the first place. You're going to find that out through being positive as you reflect back upon this situation, right? Because this is part of your environmental management, okay? So when you're managing your environment, wherever you're going to go, you want to think about what happened last time. Did it work out well? Let's repeat it. If it didn't work out well, let's change it. And then here's where motivation comes into play. Because as we remember and as we reinforce these positive things, did we go in for and come out for what we wanted? And if we did, then that's a huge celebration, because we're trying to use that limbic system to reward ourselves for the positive behavior. That's how it all works together. And I tell you, once you master this, you can get some endorphin rush and you can get some serotonin and dopamine releasing simply by remembering that you got bread. Anyway, I hope you guys have followed me along on this. Learning new social skills or helping other people learn new social skills can be broken down into 4 simple steps. Build a resilient plan and make sure you know what you're going to, be aware that you may not know where it's placed, and know what your plan's going to be if you start to get confused or anxious. Okay? Next, you want to review this plan with the person you're supporting so that they too are informed with the plan. It's really important to rope people into your plan and bring them to you. Throw them some lifelines, drag them in, and use those ropes to actually make sure that everybody in your team, including the person you're supporting, knows their expectations. They're competent in what to do. That's step 1. Step 2, be observant. Watch for cues and behaviors. If somebody's starting to get anxious, you may need to step in and help them calm down. You're going to have to know what those skills are you're using, but the behaviors that are triggering you are going to be things that make you think they're becoming anxious or confused. You know, even if they're slipping into that blue zone and getting bored, all of these things, if they are left unchecked and then some interaction happens that's negatives, that could easily spike to an out of control behavior. So we want to be observant of the people that we're supporting, and most importantly, we want to be observant and mindful of our own emotions. Because if we're not calm, we can't be guaranteed we're making valid choices. I used to come across this in nursing all the time. You know, you get a little bit too excited or worried or maybe emotionally connected to a situation, and you cross that bound from empathy to sympathy, and it's up to you, up to me, to say, I can't work with this person. I'm not thinking right. I need to shift to another person. It happens all the time. I'm telling you, it's a great thing to recognize in yourself. So keep the positive going is the next step, right? Make sure that you're reinforcing that we are going through our checklist or however you're keeping track of progress, right? Because if we're measuring things and if we want improvement, then we have to know what we're measuring, right? So I went through that in the last video, though. That one was a little boring. This is, but it has some really good information, I feel. So we've got our positive reinforcement going. Yes, you're doing a good job. Yes, you're doing everything right. And then off we go. Because not everybody right now can get easy access to medication they need or anything else. And it's really up to all of us to work together positively, use those lines of communication as a safety net, use the environment itself, ask questions. If there is any one skill that I wish I could teach everybody on the planet is know when to ask for help. That's it. If you just recognize that you need help, I feel most people are humble enough to ask. However, when we're going through these new social situations and we're being bombarded with all of these information's maybe making us feel bad or are not confident. I mean, how confident are you that you know how to go buy bread? Like, really, it's shocking if you haven't experienced this yet. I suggest you don't. I suggest you stay home. Go shopping once a week. Send one person from your family. You know what? Follow the recommendations of the health care system. They know what they're talking about, okay? Trust that environment. Trust that the system has a plan. Trust that we are playing our part in the plan. We have to build that trust in our environment. And that's why it's so important to reinforce yourself, reinforce others, be polite, be courteous. You know, my wife always says, listen to the feedback. Be kind, always. And have fun, because this keeps you calm and makes everybody make way better decisions. Thank you very much for joining me. If I can help you out in any way through this crisis, please give me a call. Check me out on Facebook on Kennedy Consulting, Mental Resiliency Training. That's the whole title on Facebook there. You can email me. It's my name, Garrett_R_Kennedy @hotmail.com. That's my business address. So email me directly if you're looking for help incorporating any tactics for mental health and proactive mental health into your OH&S systems or your personal lives. Thank you so much. Be well, be safe, be kind, stay home. Have yourselves a great day.